Hello gamers, it's Tom Sidener, the Lonely Gamer, and today I'm going to attempt to play Dark Souls, the board game. This is the first time I'm going to play it, so if I make any mistakes, please put the comments down in the show notes down below and help me out if I missed anything or I did anything incorrectly. I've read the manual several times, and I also have it close at hand in case I need to look something up. If I have to look something up, I will pause the video so you don't have to wait for me to look up something. If you see a blip in the video, it could be because I'm looking up the rules. Now, I am playing a solo version of the game, and so in the instructions it says to go ahead and give yourself 16 souls to start the game because it's a tough game, and for one person it's even tougher. So I'm going to be buying some stuff at the beginning of the game to try to get myself beefed up a little bit so that I can survive maybe to the mini boss battle. I've got everything set up. I did a setup video, so if you missed the setup video, go ahead and go back and watch that. I will put a link to that in the show notes so that you can go see that before you watch this. A couple things that I've changed. I did take my ember off of my board because you don't get to start with an ember. You have to find them in the treasure deck. So I did remove that from my player board. I also want to note, I didn't say this in the setup video, but there are some advanced character cards. They are denoted by this little blue mark above their treasure symbol. Those do not go into the main treasure deck until after you beat a mini boss. So those do not go in to start with. There's also some advanced treasures. They have a little red mark on there. Those also do not go into the main deck until after you meet a mini boss. There is a procedure for adding these. You shuffle these together and you draw so many and you add them to the main deck once a mini boss has been completed. So those are not in the main deck. But I think I'm ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to do some purchasing at the blacksmith and see if I can get my guy pumped up a little. Okay. So it costs one soul to actually reveal a treasure. I can equip it immediately if I want to once I see it, but I have to meet the requirements. I'm probably not going to meet the requirements, but I can also spend 2 souls to upgrade one of my things, strength, dexterity, intelligence, and faith, to the next tier. I can spend 4 to go to tier 2 after going to tier 1, and I can spend 8 to go to tier 3 after being at tier 2. So it's 2 and then 4 and then 8. So let's go ahead and see what I can do and see if I can beef my guy up and get some better weapons that I can use. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 soul. And I got an ember, so that's pretty nice. So I'm going to put that over here, and I'm going to go ahead and just add my ember to my board. So now I do have an ember to use for the game. I'm going to spend another soul. And I'm going to flip another ember. Well, that's not good because you can only have 1 ember, so I just wasted a soul on that. I'm going to take that out of the deck. I'm going to spend another soul, and I'm going to reveal an East-West shield. The East-West shield requires 28 in intelligence. I would have to be at tier 3 to have 28 in intelligence. I'm not a very intelligent creature here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my inventory, so that just goes in my inventory. I'm going to go ahead and cash in this 5 and get 5 single souls. I'm going to spend another one to look at another card, and this time I got a poison gem. It requires 16 in dexterity, and I can attach this to one of my weapons, and it gains poison. So I'm going to go ahead. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and take my dexterity up to tier 1. That's going to cost me 2 souls. I can get a hold of them. And I'm going to take this up to tier 1. So now I have 16 in my dexterity, and that's all the requirements. It requires 0 on the other stuff. Actually, I'm just going to put this in my inventory for now because I want to see if I get a better weapon that I can attach this to. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in my inventory. And then I'm going to go ahead and buy another thing, and I got a black armor. The black armor requires me to have a 20 in dexterity, which I don't have, and a 20 in intelligence. That would cost me a lot of souls to actually build up to be able to wear that, so I think I'm going to let that go. I'm going to spend another, and I'm going to find the Knight Slayer ring. It says after you make an attack that exceeds an enemy's block or resist value by 3 or more, gain 1 stamina. So I could actually get stamina back if I do that. It requires a 30 in strength, and that would actually cost me more souls than what I have left, so I'm not going to be able to use that. I'm going to cash in my souls here, and let's see, I get 8, so I'm going to take a 5 and 3 1s. I'm going to spin one of those to flip another card. This is a Charlanthe ring. It says characters in your node gain 3 stamina at the start of their activation instead of 2. That would give me 3 stamina. That requires an 18 in strength, an 18 in dexterity, an 18 in intelligence, and an 18 in faith, which I would have to spend a lot to get to all those. So that is also going to go to my inventory. I'm going to spend another soul, flip another card. I got a simple gem. It requires 15 in faith. It reduced the cost of the weapon's highest stamina attack by 1. That might be good. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 souls. To increase my faith up to 16 to tier 1. That way I can equip this gem as well. And then I'm going to spend another soul to flip another card. I got a crystal gem. It gives my weapon an attack of 1 extra black dice. It requires a 25 in intelligence, and that would cost me more than what I have to actually increase my intelligence, so I won't be using that probably. But it's available in my inventory if I need it down the road. I'm going to spend another soul to flip another one, and I got a Titanite shard. It gives me +1 damage to a weapon's attack. That's actually pretty nice, and it has no special requirements for attaching, so that may be a possibility. Now my weapons have 2 spots to have things attached to them, and I have 3 possible attachments for my weapon. I didn't get an advanced weapon. I've got my basic battle axe, but I do have 3 possible things I could attach, so I'm going to attach 2 to my weapon. There's no cost to attach those things to my weapon, so I might as well go ahead and spend the rest of my souls looking through the treasure deck, and maybe I'll find a better weapon that I can equip. So I'm going to go ahead and spend another soul. And I found another Titanite shard, which is exactly what I found before, so that's not going to help me that much. And with my last soul, I'm going to find Exile Armor. It requires a 26 in strength and a 16 in faith. I do have a 16 in faith, but I do not have a 26 in strength, and maybe down the road I'll get that and I'll be able to go ahead and use that. So I didn't flip any weapons. I was kind of hoping to flip some weapons, but that's kind of the luck of the draw, so I didn't get to add a fancy weapon, but I did get some upgrades to my weapon, so I'm now going to select the upgrades that I want to use with my weapon. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the simple gem because it's going to reduce the stamina of my battle axe, so this would only cost me 1 stamina to hit everything on the node, so that's going to be kind of nice. And then my other options are to either add poison or add a Titanite shard. I think I'm going to go ahead and add the Titanite shard. It adds 1 damage to the attack, so I'm kind of guaranteed 1 damage with my weapon, which is nice. You know, if I have any misses, I'll actually do 1 damage. So I'm going to go ahead and attach both of these. Now, when you attach things to your weapons, once your weapon is taken out of the game, if you start using a different weapon, these go with it, so you cannot remove these from the weapon. Now armor, you can actually remove upgrades to armor, but you cannot remove upgrades to weapons. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay these down here, so I'm going to lay them down so that I can see the text on them, so I remember that I have these. And there's my battle axe right there, and I think I am ready to venture forth. I don't have any more souls to spend. Once I kill some stuff, I'm going to get some more souls, and then I can actually go back and try again to upgrade, or maybe upgrade my self so that I can use some of the stuff that's in my treasure pile or my inventory pile there. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move forth. I'm going to move into this tile. Once you move into a tile, you reveal the tile card, the encounter card. Here's the encounter card. The encounter card is going to have symbols that match the nodes on the tile. They're also going to have symbols that match the monsters to let you know what to put on those nodes. So for the sword node right here, I'm going to add a couple baddies. Now if you look on the back of the baddie cards, you can see they have symbols here, and you're going to match those symbols up with what it says here. So my first symbol is matches this. So my first bad guy is a Silver Knight Swordsman. So that's one of these, and I'm going to put him right here on the node that it says. The next one that I have matches this guy here, and I flip that over, and that is a Hollow Soldier. So I'm going to put a Hollow Soldier onto this node as well. And then on this node, I'm going to put the one that matches this symbol, which is a Crossbowman, and he goes here. And he is going to go right here on that symbol. I also have to put out a Tombstone. A Tombstone blocks movement, but doesn't block line of sight, and it goes on to the little star symbol there. I also have a Barrel, which will go on this node up here. And now we are set and ready to do this encounter. Now, when you encounter enemies on a board, the enemies always get to go first. They all activate, and then you activate, and then they all activate, and then you activate. So it's a very daunting, thing whenever they start attacking you. The bad guys attack in order of their aggression. So here's where their little aggression number is. This guy's a 7, this guy's a 5, and this guy's a 2. So they're going to activate in this order. We always activate things from the left to the right. So we're going to activate his movement first, and he's going to move 2 towards the closest character. So he's going to go 1, 2. Then he is going to attack for 5. Everything on his node. Now he has a range of 0, so he has to attack the things on the node. He would also push if he attacked, but he's not going to be attacked because he is not on the node with my character, and he has a range of 0. So the Hollow Soldier is going to go next. He is going to move 1 towards the closest character. He would do an attack of 4 on the just the closest character, but he is also not in range. He is a range 0, so he is not going to be able to go. And then we're going to activate the Crossbow Hollow. He is going to move back 1 from the character with the aggro token. Now, of course, I'm always going to have the aggro token, so in this game, closest hero and aggro token are going to be the same. So he's going to move back 1. He has infinite range, so he can shoot anybody on the tile. And he's going to do a magic attack of 3. Now, I'm going to have to decide now whether I'm going to try to dodge or try to block the damage. If I try to dodge, I have 1 dodge dice from my northern armor, and the dodge is a 1 to dodge. So I would have to roll a 1 dodge in order to dodge that. Now that's going to be 50-50 chance on one of these dice. It looks like there's 3 faces for dodge and 3 blanks. So I have a 50-50 chance if I dodge. I also have the option to try and block the damage, and if I try to block the damage, I'm going to get, since it's magical damage, I'm going to get a just a 1 black dice, because I don't have any magical damage block on my round shield, but I do have 1 on my northern armor, so I would get 1 dice to block. I could possibly block 2, because 2 is the highest, so I'm guaranteed to have to take 1 if I try to block. If I try to dodge, then I have the possibility of taking no damage or 3 damage. So in this case, I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to try to dodge, It's 50-50 chance, but I could eliminate all the damage from him, so that would be kind of nice. I do have to spend a stamina to dodge. Dodging requires a stamina, so I'm going to put my stamina thing here. I'm going to roll my dice and hope for the best. And I did. I dodged, so I got one dodge, and it requires one dodge to dodge him. So I was able to dodge that bullet. So I'm going to take no damage from the crossbow hollow. I do want to note that one thing that I forgot is when you dodge, you actually get to move a node if you want, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and move to this location so that I am with this guy here and ready when it's my turn to go ahead and battle him. I get a attack and a movement on my turn, so I will be able to attack him and move away if I need to afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and take that movement in the dodge. You do not have to take your movement in the dodge. You can stay where you're at if you want, because it does say may. But for me, it's going to work out to go ahead and move my guy here. Alright, so these guys have all activated. I managed to stay alive. I did use one stamina, but I'm going to get to take that off on my turn anyway, so it was well worth it. So at the beginning of my turn, I'm going to go ahead and remove 2 stamina. So I've only got one, so I'm going to take those 2 stamina off. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my turn. So at this point, if I was playing with other players, I would take the aggro token. So the first thing I do is remove 2 stamina. I take the aggro token, and then I have the option to actually switch equipment from my backpack to my hands. I can do that freely. I don't have anything in my backpack, so I'm going to go ahead and just use the equipment I've got. And now I actually get a movement and an attack. I'm going to go ahead and take my attack first. I'm going to attack with my battle axe, and I'm going to attack this Silver Knight Swordsman. Unfortunately, he has 2 defense right here on his card. So if you look right here, he has 2 defense for physical attacks and 1 defense for magic attack. I'm going to attack him with my battle axe. I'm going to go ahead and just use my basic attack because it gives me 2 black dice, and my stamina attack also gives me 2 black dice. But my stamina attack actually lets me attack everybody on my node, but there's only 1 person on my node, so that's not going to help me to actually spend stamina. I do have a range of 0, so I can only attack those people on my node. So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 black dice for my attack. I need to exceed 2 to actually do any damage to him, but I'm going to get 1 damage no matter what. So that's kind of good. So I'm going to go ahead and roll my dice for my attack. And I actually did 3 damage to him because I have 2 on my dice. And I have 1 from my Titanite shard, which is really good. I'm really glad I took that. Maybe I should have taken both of the Titanite shards, but we'll see if that turns out to be a bad decision. But I did do 3 damage. He blocks 2 of the damage, but he has to take 1 of the damage. He only has 1 life here on his card right up here, and so he is actually removed from the game, so I actually took him out. And he's going to get flipped over because he's out of the challenge. That was my turn. It didn't cost me any stamina, so I'm going to go and in my turn I can move, and I think I will move. I think I'm going to move here, and the reason I'm going to move here is because this guy's only got a movement of 1, and he has a range of 0, so he won't be able to attack me this turn. So I'm going to move there and in my turn. Now, all the bad guys are going to activate again in their threat order, so I'm going to start with this guy, the Hollow Soldier. He's just going to move 1 towards me. He's chasing me down, and then he's going to end his activation because he has a range of 0, and he's not on the node with me, so he can't actually attack me. Unfortunately, the Crossbow Hollow is going to move 1 node away from me, and he is going to attempt to shoot me again. So he's going to do 3 damage if he hits me. I've got to decide if I'm going to try and dodge or I'm going to try and block. Just like last time, I think my odds are better to try to dodge. So I'm going to go ahead and spend my stamina to dodge. And I did not dodge this time, so I have to take 3 damage. So I'm going to put 3 damage onto my board. Ouch, that hurt. That arrow went right into my spleen. Bad. Okay, so I took my damage from the crossbow hollow, and now I am going to activate my turn. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, and with my dodge, so I forgot again, this is really easy to forget, but with my dodge I'm going to go ahead and move. So I'm going to move up into this guy's location. Now, if this guy activated before this guy, I wouldn't have wanted to do that, because then I would have been on his node and he could have attacked me. But since they activate in the other order, it behooves me to go ahead on my dodge and move to that location. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take my activation. I'm going to remove 2 stamina. I already have the aggro token, but I'm going to keep the aggro token. And then I could switch around some items if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to attack this hollow soldier. There's no need to spend the stamina to do my special attack because there's only 1 person on my node. So I'm just going to take my 2 black dice and I'm going to attack. He has a defense of 1 for a physical attack, so I need to get at least 2 to kill him. And I did. I rolled a 2, so I killed this gentleman, and he's going to be removed from the board. I'm going to flip him over. And I do get a movement after my attack, so I'm going to go ahead and move here. I'm going to try to track down, I'm going to try to corner this crossbow hollow. My dodge is actually going to help me get to him as well, I think. So that's going to be the end of my activation. And now I'm going to go back to the monster activation. The only thing left is the crossbow hollow, and he's definitely going to get to activate. He is going to move away from me 1, so he's going to move into this corner. And he is going to attack me for 3 magic. I am definitely going to dodge, because dodging not only may keep me from getting hit, but it also will put me in a spot to be able to attack him on my next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and spend my stamina for dodge. And then I'm going to move forward 1. And then I'm going to roll my dodge dice and hope that I can dodge that attack that he's sending my way. I did. I rolled the dodge, so I don't take any damage. That's great for me. And now I'm going to finish up his attack, and I'm going to move on to my attack. On my turn, I get to remove 2 stamina, which I'm going to do. Take the aggro token, move around any equipment I want. I'm not going to move around anything. I'm going to take my movement first. I'm going to go ahead and move onto his node so that I can attack him. He has a 1 defense for physical attack. So I'm going to roll my 2 black dice and hope to get at least 2 to be able to take him out. And I did. I did 3 damage, and so I'm going to take him out. He is now taken out. I'm going to flip over his card here just to show that I killed him. And we have completed this tile. So when you complete a tile, you get to take 2 souls and put them into your soul cache. If the encounter would have been a boss battle, then I would have gotten 1 soul per spark per character for defeating it. So if it was a boss battle, I have 5 sparks still on my dial. I have 1 character, so I would have gotten 5 souls for actually defeating a mini boss. But it was just a regular battle, so I get the 2 souls for defeating that. I also, which is nice, I also get to remove all damage and stamina from my board because I won. Now if I would have gotten killed, I would have had to go to the bonfire tile where I would have been able to rest, remove that stuff, but I would have lost a spark. But actually won the encounter, so that's good, and now I can actually move on to encounter something in the next tile. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here and go ahead and get it out there for you guys to take a look at. That way, if I made any mistakes, you guys can put the comments down there, and hopefully I'll get to read them before I make the next video when I move into the next tile, and I'll try to rectify those mistakes. So I will see you in the next video, and I'll try to get that up as quickly as possible so that it doesn't take me as long to get it up as it did between the setup and this video. But just kind of look for that one, and until I see you in the next video, happy gaming.